So this is our fourth lesson in Unit 4, and the one today was just a quick reminder on how to find the equation of a line. And last lesson we looked at slope-intercept form, so we can use that to help us. So what the first thing we should be looking for in each question is, where does this line cross the y-axis? And if it goes through 2, I'm going to put positive 2. Now all the questions in slope-intercept form start with y equals. We have a certain number of x, and then we have a number at the end. And the reason it's slope-intercept form is the number of x's is the slope, and the second number is your y-intercept. So to find the slope, we need to find a couple of points that lie on the line, and then we need to count to make sure we get back to the line. So I go down 1 and across 3. And the reason I'm doing that is because of rise over run. So I went down 1 square, so I give it a negative, and then I went across 3. So the equation of my first line is negative 1/3 x plus 2. Now for my second equation, I can see it goes through negative 1. So y equals something x minus 1 this time. And if I can find a couple of points that lie on this line, this time I go up 2 across 1. So rise over run again. 2 over 1 is 2, so y equals 2x minus 1. 3 and 4 pretty much appear every single lesson because these are the ones that most students get mixed up. This one we should be able to write straight away. All horizontal lines start with y equals, and then it's just the number that it passes through. So y equals any number is your horizontal line. Therefore vertical lines are x equals, and it's whichever number it passes through on the x-axis, which is negative 5. So only vertical lines have the equation x equals, and horizontal lines just y equals a number. Just to remind you though for that, the slope of this is 0, and the slope for this one is undefined because it goes up and down. So make sure you answer the question as well. So if it says what is the equation, don't go and put undefined because that's actually not the equation, that's just the slope. Now this was a homework from the previous lesson, and you had to rearrange these into slope-intercept form. I think the ones I've highlighted are probably the most important ones. So the reason this one's important is there is no number at the end here for my intercept. So we have to know that that means that the intercept is 0. So my slope would be 7 and my intercept would be 0. Y equals 6. Once again, it's one of these types of questions. The y equals is your horizontal line. And so therefore it would have slope 0. So if I can scroll back up for a second, the slope for this one is 0, but it passes through 6 on the y-axis. X equals 3, that was the vertical line, so the slope for that one is undefined. And actually that never passes through the x-axis. Never passes through the y-axis. As you can see if you actually look at an example for this, because it's actually parallel to the y-axis. Now the ones on the other side require a little bit of rearranging, so if I subtract 2x from both sides, then this would cancel, and I would get negative y equals 8 minus 2x. And if I know what negative y is, to find out what y is, I can divide throughout by negative 1. 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8, and negative 2x divided by negative 1 is positive 2x. So my slope would be 2, because that's how many x's I have. My y-intercept would be negative 8. Now I'm going to work out p over this side, so 3x plus 5y equals 10. I'm trying to solve for y, so I'm going to move the 3x to the other side first of all. So negative 3x plus 10, or 10 minus 3x, whichever you prefer. Divide everything by 5, and then simplify. So negative 3/5 is not a lot I can do with that, but 10 divided by 5 I can work out is 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 5, and my y-intercept is positive 2. For this one also I would need to subtract 2x this time. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong question. For q I would subtract 2x from both sides. So that cancels, and I get left with negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 24. Or you could put 24 minus 2x, I just prefer my x's to appear first. And then divide both sides by negative 3. So the negative 3's cancel, so I get y equals, which is what I was trying to do. The two negatives cancel, so I get 2/3. And 24 divided by 3 actually turns out to be negative 8, so I'm going to subtract 8. Meaning that my slope would be 2/3 and my y-intercept would be negative 8. Now also for this lesson we took another look at this exercise where we have to try and match up the equation with the definition. So anything that starts y equals and has an x in it is going to be slope-intercept form. If I have x and y on the same side like this is standard form. Y equals a number, as we saw in the warm-up, is a horizontal line. If I have parentheses which begins with p, that's point slope because that also begins with p. X equals a number is your vertical line. If I have any powers, then that means that this is not linear. X and y on the same side again. I see parentheses, so point. Both begin with p. Y equals -5 is a horizontal line. X equals a number is a vertical line. And y equals 3 is a horizontal line again. So we did a little bit of extra practice on that. We also did a quick review of all the things we learned in the previous 3 lessons as well. So if you want to find the slope between 2 points, first of all label them as x1, y1 and x2, y2, and then we're going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where y2 is -8, take away y1, which is 2, divided by x2 minus x1, so 5 minus 1. And if we work this out and do this in stages, -8 take away 2 is -10, 5 take away 1 is 4, and then if we simplify by dividing both by 2, then we would end up with -5 over 2. This was very similar to the homework that we had, so we had to make this say y equals, so subtract 2x from both sides. And then divide both sides by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. -2 divided by 3 doesn't simplify. So -2/3 x plus 4. Therefore, the slope would be -2/3. And for the last question, we just looked at slope, not equations, which is the previous homework. Just slope, so find 2 points that lie on the line. This one goes up 3, across 1. And 3 over 1 is just going to be 3. 2 points on the line, down 1, across 2. As I went down 1, I give it a negative sign, and that one doesn't simplify. And the 2 special cases, the one that goes straight across is 0, the one that goes up and down, undefined begins with a u, and so does up. So we did a quick reminder on some of those things. Now, the main part of the lesson was actually based on graphing in slope-intercept form and standard form, and we'll talk about that in the next video.